I don't know what the hell was going on before. I tried to do this live video a few times and Facebook was not working on my computer. So I'm going to do it on my phone. So welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show, where I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling your houses in New York, or if you're already doing, how to grow your business. So the question I'm dealing with today is, who pays a realtor fee for sale by owner? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the components of a realtor fee. What are they? Who pays them? And then we're going to talk about what happens on a FSBO, right, for sale by owner, as we say in the industry. So first of all, understand, in general, most properties that are not FSBO are listed. They are listed by an agent, and the listing agent negotiates with the seller how much their fee is going to be. So, for example, typical fee in our area is 4%. Now, what happens then is that a buyer, if an agent brings the buyer, he will usually split that with the seller's agent. So instead of the seller's listing agent or seller's agent, same thing, getting 4%, they'll get 2%, they'll split it. Now, on a for sale by owner, there is no listing agent. So I assume the question is, what happens if a buyer's agent brings someone? So first of all, let me tell you bad news. The bad news is most agents that are representing buyers, and in our area, it's probably between 2/3 and 3/4 of all the buyers are represented by an agent. Most of those people are not going to bring their client to a FSBO deal, to a for sale by owner, because they are not legally protected. So the way it works is they're in the multiple listing service of whatever area you're in. Certainly in our area, if I'm a buyer's agent and a buyer has signed my agreement that makes me their agent, then the listing agent is obligated to give me that commission. But on a FSBO, on a for sale by owner, there is no legal obligation. So if I don't get paid, I really have nothing, no place to go. So most buyer's agents, and you're talking about 2/3 to 3/4 of the buyers out there, are never going to see your house FSBO, for sale by owner, ever. So theoretically, who would pay it? So what would happen in a typical case is that the buyer's agent would tell his client, hey, I'm going to take you to a house I think is great for you, but you're going to have to pay my 2% fee. Now, at that point, the buyer usually will make a face, because what most buyer's agents tell their clients when they sign the contract is, you're not going to pay me anything, because 99% of the time they're not going to pay them. I'm going to get paid by the seller. In this case, the guy can say, listen, I have something to show you, but just understand you're going to have to pay my fee. So usually the buyer would pay. Now, if that buyer's agent calls the owner, the O in the FSBO, and says, hey, owner, I have a great client for you. I think this guy's going to buy it, but would you pay me my 2% fee, for example? And the owner might say, yeah, if we agree on a price and I'm okay with the price, I'll pay you. So the answer to this question really is that there's almost never, ever, ever going to be an agent who brings their client to a FSBO, for sale by owner deal. But if one does, either the client, the buyer, is going to pay his fee, or the seller will agree to pay the fee. But that agent has to be very careful, because if he gets screwed at the closing, he really has no obligation unless he puts something in writing. I know I have been screwed on things like that too. When I was in the mortgage business, I forgot to get something in writing. A guy closed the deal and I didn't get paid on it. And he goes, well, sorry. And that was it. That was the extent of my recourse. Zero. I was foolish, and I learned from then on that anytime somebody's anytime somebody's obligated to pay you or says they will, you should get it in writing, because otherwise you are not necessarily getting paid. Now, that is how listing agreements and commissions work. So again, to bring up my main point here is that for sale by owner is usually not a good idea. And I am not saying that just because I do take listings. I am saying that because I can tell you I have bought as an investor many properties that started as FSBO and just did not get sold. And eventually the seller really was desperate to sell, or the seller was much more flexible on the price. And many times I think that if that guy had just listed with an agent, he would have got more money. Now, the obvious answer is, I met with some guy recently who told me, I don't want to pay somebody to sell my house. Now, a couple things. This guy has his house listed too high, right? Now, maybe he'll get somewhere not far from there, possibly. But I firmly believe that in 9 out of 10 times, maybe 99 out of 100 times, if you list it with an agent, you'll get more, even considering the commission you're going to pay. Now, why is that? Because in any market, in any really, when you're selling any item, the more people or buyers that see it, the better your price will be, right? You'll sell it for more if more people can see it. And when you go FSBO, even if you put it on Zillow, right? I know, people think that they look at Zillow, therefore everybody looks at Zillow. More than half of the people that looking for properties are never looking on Zillow. So if you list it with an agent, it still gets on Zillow automatically from the MLS. Plus, you get on a million other sites, and agents that want to get paid will bring their clients to you. And as I said, agents most of the time are not going to bring their clients to a FSBO situation. So the best way to make the most money is to list it with an agent. If the house is fine, if it looks okay, there is really no reason to go FSBO. There really are two options, right? If the property has a lot of condition problems, or there's municipal problems, open permits, unpermitted, things like that, or you cannot be on a buyer's timeline, then your best bet is to sell to an investor. But if you don't have any of those issues, then you should list it. And I honestly believe that listing it will almost always get you more money, even after you pay commission, than if you go FSBO, for sale by owner, because you're just showing it to many fewer people. And showing a property or marketing a property to many fewer people usually results in a lower price. Here's the real thing to worry about, because I've seen this happen a few times. You picking a number out of your ass, let's say, that you think you should list it at. Let's say you get it right away from a guy. You'll never know whether you could have got more. Almost every house I list sells above asking now. And many times I thought the asking was a high point, but we're in a crazy market. There's an artificial amount of lack of supply right now due to the eviction and foreclosure moratoriums that are going on. And because of that, there are a lot of desperate buyers. It really is a seller's market now. A lot of times I got more money than I could ever imagine on properties. And if I had gone FSBO and picked a number out of my tuchus, that's Yiddish for ass, then I would have never known if I really maxed out, right? So when you go FSBO, you'll never know if you got as much money for it as you could, ever. But if you put it out of the MLS and everybody gets to see it, then it's an open market for the best price. It's really that simple. And by showing it to the most people, you should do the best, even after you pay your commission. That's the truth. I mean, it doesn't, there are people who just drives them bananas to pay a commission, but I got to tell you, you're usually going to get more money for it, even after you pay your commission. So that I would recommend to anyone who does not have condition problems, municipal problems, or timing problems to list it. Now, quick, shameless plug for why you might want to list it with me. So I never wanted to be a realtor, right? I didn't. I'm really a house flipper, but I became a realtor because I had to list my own houses after I did the work to them. And I don't want to let somebody else manage that listing or take that deal. So what I did is, now when I take a listing, I really am the cheapest, quickest, and best realtor. And I'll just tell you why. First of all, I charge a maximum of 3.5% commission. If I find the buyer and the buyer does not have his own agent, I only charge 2.5% commission. That's ridiculous. Second of all, I'll take a listing for 60 days. If you go to any major realtor, Century 21, Douglas Elliman, Keller Williams, they're going to ask you to list for a year. And if you push them, they'll let you list for 6 months. I'll take a listing for 60 days. I'll have it in contract by then. And third, I'm the best realtor because I have to sell my properties for top dollar. So I sell your property for top dollar too, right? So I'll spend money on Facebook advertising to drive people to the site. I will spend money on professional photography if I have to. Whatever I gotta do, I'm going to sell your house for top dollar, just like my houses get sold for top dollar. So you really are, again, I'm not going to say you're crazy to use a regular realtor, and certainly if you have a relationship, you should honor that. But if you need to list it, I'm happy to help you. Now, and that's full service, right? We're going to do everything for you that anybody would do. So I hope this was helpful. I don't even know what the hell timing we're at. I think we're at 8 or 9 minutes. And YouTube says you have to be 10 minutes. So I'm just going to go through my final spiel. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are interested in finding out about a course I have that teaches how to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you're interested in finding about one-on-one coaching I have, then please go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, please click the thumbs up. Thumbs up really helped me. I know somebody's been clicking thumbs up here. I really appreciate it. And please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. The comments really help me. They give me topics to discuss, and every comment is fine. If you send me a comment that it doesn't have anything to do, it could have nothing to do with the video, it's fine. If it's an easy question, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered before, I'll send you links to the videos. And if it is something new, then I will do a new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.